Well, here we are, back in the Brakenrahm. The front is finished, in quotation marks. The decoration on the outer surface of the black stone. I mentioned before that there will be patterning or markings, texturing. By texturing, I mean like landscaping, essentially, to give it some form. But that's not being done until the back is in place, so I can do it all at once. I also still need to swap this one. I scratched my head about how to do it because I didn't want to destroy all of this and then have to rebuild the underlying glass in order to be able to properly place everything. So yeah, I'm probably going to do what I've done here, wool, to put where I want things to go, and then just slowly work around it so I don't lose track of what I'm actually doing, but not actually, outright destroy everything, but, kind of need to work myself up to actually do it. I could probably I really should standardize the mouths now. Finally got to the point of including green, which I think is working. It's better than the orange. I felt like the orange was making things a little bit too bright. This is actually half green and half grey glass. You can see the grey is from this distance just blending with the colours of the actual teeth, which I don't have a problem with. But I feel like the green it's very subtle from this distance. It really doesn't stand out. I think these are all bright green, which is, again, that's really not standing out that much given that it's the bright green glass. But then, the colours in the end are a little bit different. But yeah, it's actually in this case I actually added a fourth layer of glass, because originally it would have been purple, magenta, and then the pink, which obviously transitioned a couple of weeks ago to doing the tinted purple and magenta, and then the pink's not used. So at the moment I've added this straight on, and that hasn't been much of an issue, it hasn't crowded the mouth in or overwhelmed or anything. It just, I think these ones are tacked on as well. Unfortunately, this presents the problem of, in order to do these, I would need to purple to tainted, magenta to purple, orange, pink to green. Although I did experiment here with just sticking it on the top, which looks fine as far as I'm concerned, but I still think that pink is lightening things too much. But really, I don't think there's a lot. I noticed as I was flying to the front to prepare for the recording, I do keep forgetting from time to time that these things exist. There was an early experiment on the upper mouth. I started to move on and wasn't including it. Stuck this in as another attempt, try and start again, but obviously be cleaner. I don't think it's working as well as I really want it to before I'm willing to use it. I could incorporate it a little more. It didn't look too bad. I sort of was seeing it from a distance. And the bulking of the mouth of the join is not an issue. I think it probably needs this so it's a little bit more, just more, because the original one is like literally just a block wide. You know, and as you can see, I've experimented with how to give this a little more oomph, so it looks a little more impressive. It looks like I was doing that anyway. I used some blocks, just a little to slightly cover it, which, you know, I may go from there. Would that be? Yeah, it's not actually be like that, I think. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not. I don't really know. I mean, it would make them a miniature, I suppose. You know, in a way, like the tentacles surrounded by a little collar, which this is also surrounded by a little collar, and that's okay for reasons. But yeah, there's a few questions still. So I've been working on the back. This was partly done. It was been a bit of a struggle because it's been very difficult to trace what I was originally doing. I mean, some of it went well. I modified one as I was going and came up with a better combination. But I've noticed or realized I made a very big mistake, which I'll go into in a little bit once we've taken a look at this. Now, I've put some light up here, some candles, trying to see if it stays subtle enough. It's probably still more bright than I would like. This is already demonstrated at the other end of the etheren, where the beam is emerging from the etheren. It's causing a tree to grow. And the reason for this is called the heart of life, or it's the power is the heart of life, this power source in the middle of the etheren. And although the beam packs a significant kinetic punch and would do a lot of damage if it struck something, it's comprised entirely of the essence of life. And because of this, it can make things just spontaneously grow out of nothing. This will probably immediately begin dying or even disappear when the beam fades. I mean, it's growing out of this, but this probably isn't even remotely capable of supporting it for even a little bit of time. But yeah, it's based on a tree that another creator called Brun did in conjunction with I think Calvin MC, and it goes, his one like whoosh, and it really did have a lot of swishing to it. And you know, I borrowed the idea. I wanted to create the idea, so we ended up with this. I quite like it. There'll be more, a little bit more anyway, because the beam is eventually going to hit something in the middle, which will require additional stuff. Yeah, unfortunately you can see the candles from this side, so not much I can do about that. And lichen's far too bright. It stands out like a sore thumb as well. You can see it so easily, not just the light but the block itself. But I did mention a mistake. And the mistake is, let me put the potion on. The mistake, well, this is the correction to the mistake. When I bring this inward, this is how it should have gone. Even for 7 blocks. Until it's gone down, the curve has gone down 7 blocks. So about here. So all of this should still be out here. Then it goes in one, and stays even for another 7 blocks. It has to alternate, or there's a couple of 6s mixed into the 7s. But that's how it should have been done from the beginning. That would create the effect I wanted, which is obviously a tube on an angle. What I've been doing is, and this was calculated by the way, this is the height, which is 238 blocks, divided by the distance from here to the point at which I want to connect, which is 35 blocks. So it's 238 divided by 35, which is just under 7. Which obviously in order to create, I need to alternate between 7s and 6s. What I've done is I took half of the circumference, which is 340, and divided that by the 35. And that gives you about 9, between 9 and 10. And what I was doing was 9 blocks along, or 10 blocks in one, 9 in one, 9 or 10 and in one, and so on. And that's what I've been doing for the other 3 panels so far. All of these 3. In fact, actually this one as well. And that's very bad. You can see the problem. It's this weird pinching. I noticed it and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be like this. And that's when I realized I was just completely doing it wrong. I don't know why it didn't occur to me sooner, but it didn't. Now, if I were to try to do this one like this, it's actually going to slice through part of this. You can see by back here. So this should actually come in a little more sharply, I think. I mean, the end result is the same, but what's happening is it's slowly curving out here. Starts to curve in very quickly here before shallowing out again. I don't think it's particularly noticeable from the side. But I think that's partly a product of the fact that on the sides, the drops are more consistent visually and do the thing that they're supposed to be doing, which is you go down 9 and then go inward. But, so from the sides it's okay. I'm not sure what it looks like from the top. Probably does the same weird pinching. Now correcting this should actually be more straightforward than it might appear, because all I have to do is recalculate the number and then I can start just putting blocks in here all the way down to wherever it would be, like here, come in one and then go along. And so I can correct this just by adding blocks, or at least I think you probably would start to add blocks. I can't help thinking that eventually I'm going to end up having to remove part of it in order to compensate as it goes down. But in any case, I don't think it would be that difficult, and I probably should do it, because it's only going to start a little worse because of how narrow it is at the bottom. I suppose it still looks the same from the top as well, because it's essentially still the same. You know, it drops down, goes a long 9 and then drops in. It's creating the same curve. I think it must be something to do with the midpoint. I don't know. It's wrong. It's not how it should have been done. It's very difficult to tell, but if I correct it now, I think I'm going to interfere with what's already been done. So I don't know where that really leaves me. But on that note, I shall leave you and say adieu and get on with some of this work, some of this correction or whatever it is. Obviously, I didn't talk too much about what I'm actually going to be doing, but you'll get a pretty good idea in a couple of weeks' time with the next video. But until then, I say adieu.